Hi, Carol here. A warm welcome to my craft room. And it's time for Hearts February month. And today I am going to show you some techniques using my stencils. And I am shopping, as you know, at least for the last year in my own craft room. I am not buying new products. I made up my mind that I'm going to use up all of the things I haven't used in my craft room, and this is one of them, the Andy Skinner stencils, which include accessories and your own masks are included. Is that great or what? I'm not kidding. I couldn't believe it when I found this. I love shopping in my own craft room, actually. You will too. Look at that. So I'm going to show you some different techniques. I'm going to start with this card. It's going to be clean and simple if you like to do clean and simple cards. And then I'm going to move it along to the mixed media, all in the same card, if you like to have mixed media cards. And that way there'll be something for everybody in this one tutorial. I'm going to start with cutting out the actual mask. They have a little wee area, I'd say 4 of them, to snip off, and you have to be very careful you don't snip the hands or the arms too closely there so that you remove the limbs, because even though I think that's why they made it a little difficult to take off, you don't want to pull on it like I'm trying to do here. Because especially on the girl images. I love how you have the masks to mask out the bubble, to put a sentiment in. I mean, it's wonderful. And shopping in my own craft room, I'm loving it because I have not used these yet. And I've had them for some months in my stash since the summer. And I'm going to show you what I like about the Andy Skinner stencils, and I think you'll love them too. You'll love the fact that the sets come with accessory sets as well. Stencils, look at that. It fits right in there. I'm going to start out with an A2 size card base. I cut with 140 pound white cardstock, and I cut the piece right here because I want to stay in that size frame, 5.5, 4.25 by 5.5. First, I want to put down the stencil that has the missing piece in it without the mask. And after my little hearts have disappeared, I'm going to put some microcord tape down to hold just the card base. I'm going to put this card base on top of another card because I'm going to bring it up. Oh yeah, there's my tweet little birdies. I'm going to bring it to mixed media, so I'm going to need the base of the card a little bigger than the A2 size. So here's my runner. I tried to put it on the mask, but it didn't work, so I stuck a little bit on the paper, and I'll show you how I'm going to take that off later. You just use baby powder and it will remove your double-sided tape runner from your paper quite easily. So let's begin with putting the mask inside. We'll take the aged mahogany and we'll take the festive berries, and we're going to transition from dark to light starting at the top. I'm using the small Tim Holtz stencil here, the tiny heart stencil, and we're going to start with the mahogany here, and I'm going to press quite lightly first because I'm not quite sure how dark I want the top. Then I'll grab the festive berries and I'll change the hue going down and getting lighter from the bottom. What I love about this stencil is the hearts start small and they graduate to a larger heart. And you can go right over top of your mask stencil and look at that. It's just beautiful. You get the whole background and you're able to use the mask that comes with the actual stencil set. Isn't that awesome? Now you're going to put your stencil over top of the mask so that you can lift it up, and we'll be able to design the dress with the dress with another mask. Isn't that awesome? Look at it. And then you're going to take some anti-static powder or baby powder, whichever one. They both work just as well. Take your finger that has no ink on it and you just rub it and let it sit in there, and then you'll be able to remove it pretty well. So I took another Tim Holtz stencil. I love this one, and I'm trying to, it's the knit, holiday knit stencil, and I situated it exactly where I wanted to have design on the dress. And then I'm going to take the microcore tape, and I'm going to take some of my golden molding paste. Now this paste, it had little crumblies in it because it was at the bottom. I'm actually using the bottom out of all of my containers. Oh yes, I am shopping in my stash. And I just had a little bit left, so I'm mixing it up with the aged mahogany on here, and then I'm going to put it in for the dress. Now I wanted to show you how you can keep this clean and simple. If that's the look you're going for, you can stop right after I do this portion and put a sentiment on the card, and you have a beautiful clean and simple card using molding paste, 2 stencils, actually 3 stencils. You have the Andy Skinner stencil, you have the tiny heart stencil, and then you have this beautiful holiday knit. As I'm going to use beaded clear paste, I want to put down some darker shade on the legs and also on the face here at the top. Then I'll remove this stencil up, and look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? And you can spray it with water, you can spray it with spritzers. There's so much you can do. So I'm going to take you now, we're going to begin our mixed media piece. I put a little bit of black soot on the end of my shaving brush that I scooped up from my husband last year. I've been using that, and I'm just adding it inside the layer of the dress so that I have some burgundy and dark tones, the black, and then I'm pouncing down on it again with the shaving brush. You'll really love this look, and if you wanted to, you could raise your mat up and then take some aged mahogany spray, Tim Holtz spray ink, and start it at the top and let it work its way down the page. Blow it dry with your heat tool, and then put a dark black with white sentiment across the bottom, and it would be a beautiful, clean and simple card, don't you think? But we're going to keep moving here. I'm going to take it right up to an actual mixed media card. And you know I love the look of mixed media, so I'm just going to keep going here. I took my Copic multiliner, and I'm going to outline the features of the hands and the legs for now, because we are going to put a little eye, a little mouth on there after I put the stencil down to put a hat on her. Now, a closed umbrella. Love this look. And like I said, I am working with the golden molding paste that I had at the bottom of the jar. Look at it, it has that little dog. It's so cute. And I take that paste, it's kind of dry. You can see that. It has a little bit of chunks in there that I'm dealing with, but I want to use up my products. So without having to buy any more, so I'm just going to work with it, and I'm spreading it out, and this begins the mixed media texture process. You have the beautiful dress with the holiday knit stencil, and now you have the accessory stencil from Andy Skinner's Stencil Set, and look at that. And she's holding an umbrella. How sweet. I'm going to move on to the Faber-Castell glass bead glitter gel. It's beautiful, and you get it at Michael's. Use your coupon, and I'm going to go over it right here. I'm going to put the stencil back over top, and then I'm going to put the holiday knit stencil over top of that, so I get a little pattern on the socks, like the feet. I was thinking like leotards, and it really didn't matter because I ended up going over it with the end of my palette knife, because as soon as I lifted the stencil, I noticed it needed to be a little smoother in that area. So all I did was take the end of the point there, put the stencil back on so that I could make it a little more level because I knew I was going to heat set it and add some distress inks to the bottom of the feet to look like more like separate the shoes or boots, whatever look you're going for there. And then we're also going to use the accessory set to put a beautiful hat on her as well on the top. So here I'm putting down a little bit more of the glass glitter gel and patting it down just like that. Isn't that wonderful? Texture is beautiful. And now we're going to move on to more of a mixed media piece. So you're going to want to take what I wanted to do was add some shadows. So I took a little makeup sponge, and it's very affordable this way. I generally keep all of my Stampin' Up! Inks with a little makeup sponge in each one of them in case I want to do this little intricate stenciling with ink. I always have them in my Stampin' Up! Inks. But I do have some in the drawer that are separate because you can get them at the dollar store. You know my dollar store where nothing's a dollar. And then I'm going to move on to the aged mahogany, and I'm going to keep moving this stencil over. I'm going to have dark and light shadows. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to actually add more hearts to the bottom with deeper shades, and I'm going to add the little ones at the bottom. So I'll have large hearts and small hearts, and there. You could stop this right now and put a sentiment on there. It'd be perfect. I'm spraying it down with some water to see what look I get, mixing up the black soot with the aged mahogany and the pattern that's on my paper towel in the hearts. Oh, you should see it. It's absolutely stunning because you have that pattern in all the hearts once you spray it with the water. And now I'm taking some navy and I'm going right over top of the stenciling paste, both on the legs and on the umbrella. And I already put the gel down for the hat on the top. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's right here. Add some more water, roll your paper towel over top, add some more water, and look at that. You have a pattern everywhere. Beauteous. I just love it. I'm going to take the festive berries, go over it to really enhance the hearts with some deep red, and then we're going to move forward to mixed media style card. You know I had to do it. I took my holiday knit set again. I grabbed my Dreamweaver gold paste, went over the same pattern, and now I am using my, it's almost like glossy accents. It's the Irresistible, and it comes out beautiful. I love it. It's a thinner version of Glossy Accents. I'm putting it in between the pattern of the dress so that it makes it level because I'm going to be making a shaker card out of this. And I also use the gold. I'm adding an eye and a mouth on the top there. I'm just going to show you. Look at that Dreamweaver gold paste. And I also used my set of words stencil, and I added some to the upper right, the lower left, the lower right, the upper left, and the upper right. And I added a few words through the stencil in gold. Then I added the roll of double-sided tape here. And the reason I had to put the hot glue down is this was a little leftover piece and it had lost its sticky. So if that happens, because I have to put 2 layers high because it's going to be a shaker, just add a little bit of your hot glue, run it across, and it'll be just like new. Then I'm going to add the same amount along the edge where the microcord tape was, and we're on our way to a wonderful shaker mixed media card. I cut the tape nice and thin. You're going to want to do that. Just follow that nice thin line, and it has to be thin because of the hat on top. I want to be able to see that, and then it's too high. So, well, it's not too high. I always say that, don't I? It's 2 layers high. How's that? And I love the look of the Irresistible Glossy liquid in between the design on the dress. I put some on the umbrella and also on the legs. And actually, I think I did the hat as well. I know I did. And so now I'm taking off the tape. I heat set it because we're going to add some navy. It's a deep gray, kind of gray navy sprinkle. I got them at Michael's. I'm adding some powder. Then put powder all around the edges so it doesn't stop and stick on your double-sided roll. Then you're going to add your sprinkles and your acetate. This is my thick acetate that I get at the stationery store. I put the whole sheet over top and then I cut it to size. Here's where I wanted to have a frame in navy around the piece, but I did not have a die that was large enough to cover it. So I'm going to show you what you can do to have a perfectly straight border around any card by using washi tape. So I put my double-sided tape along the inside of this triangle that I cut out of my dies here, the largest one that I had. And I'm going to lay that down so that I'm not going to worry about the outside edges that show. Don't worry about that. Place it down so it's perfect with the image. That's all I want. And you'll see that I have, it's not big enough, and I have some of the tape showing on every side, but that's fine. Look at that. It even shows you that I'm a little crooked on placing down the double-sided tape roll. But when you have washi tape, it doesn't matter. I am grabbing the polka dot. This is perfect. Now line up your polka dots. Don't worry about the pattern. Just worry that on the navy, it's perfectly aligned with the line on your washi tape and the line on the die cut piece of navy cardstock, because you're going to cover that with something else. So line up the line in your washi tape underneath the line. See how perfectly straight it is? And yet I have more dots on some of the side when I fold it over, the washi tape over, than I do on the bottom portion or the sides. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. When you fold it over, because the cardstock is not even, you're going to get maybe 2 rows of dots on the upper. See how it goes from the right side? If you look at the upper portion on the right top, you'll notice that the washi tape is going to where I have 1 line, and then it's gradually going to 2. It doesn't matter, because if you have the washi tape aligned with the border of that navy piece of paper and you fold it over, not only are you going to get a nice straight row of dots when you're finished, but you're not going to be able to see the double-sided tape from the sides. Isn't that wonderful? When you see how you look on the side of the shaker, you see nothing but dots. You don't see that tape that we put down. It kind of looks like a book. It's beautiful. And those dots line up very well. It's very, I don't know, it's just a very nice technique to use when you want to cover the sides of your card. Just use washi tape, fold it over, my friends, and look at that. You have a shaker, and now we're going to straighten it up with this beautiful rope that I have. It's gold, and it matches the gold in the dress stencil perfectly. Now I'm going to grab this beautiful, I think it says it's Pepper Rell company in the USA that makes this gorgeous braided rope. I love it. And this is what's going to hide the unevenness. I'm going to go along the line that just has the 1 row of dots. I'm going to place this rope right alongside that, and you're only going to see the perfect alignment in the paper navy border, the perfect line in the washi tape of 1 row of polka dots. I'm going to leave this on the top because I'm going to tie it in a knot there. I'm going to come around, take my glue right underneath the 1 row of dots and put that down, and the eye will naturally make this look like it's a perfect sized card, rectangle card. I love doing this. It just works out wonderfully when you add to a card like this. Now you notice that I only have 1 row of dots on this side, So I'm taking it carefully right along the edge so that you can see the one row of dots, because we know that this is a tad at a line. So that worked out. You can't tell. When you put this on a card base, you won't be able to tell that it wasn't perfectly aligned. And as well on the bottom, I think on the right and left sides we were out a bit. But the top and bottom seem to be okay. The thicker rope seems to give the illusion that when you put it down, the polka dots perfectly straight with one row, and it comes together perfectly. Love the style of mixed media. The Dreamweaver paste with the distress inks underneath the gold looks amazing. And you have the navy to match the navy in the paper. And once you put the knot in here, the eye is going to be drawn there, which helps with the whole illusion of straightening up your card. You have the shaker with a few elements inside there. I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. Love this rope. And it was made in the USA, and I found that in my stash. Yeah, I didn't go out shopping. Got that at a thrift store, of course. Plus, I love looking at the dress with the Dreamweaver gold paste, modeling paste. I love that look with the Pico Irresistible Embellisher, the way we put it in between the layers of the embossing folder of the Holiday Knit. That's the Tim Holtz, I'm sorry, I said embossing folder. I meant to say stencil. I get those two mixed up all the time. My stencil, isn't it gorgeous? It adds a totally different look than just using the distress inks, but it did look beautiful at the beginning, didn't it? Just having the distress inks layered underneath the Andy Skinner stencils. I love it. I love having a mask included. So here you have it, my friends. I added the red background to stress the edges, and then I took out a Heidi Swapp gold clip, and I'm using that as a stand because when you open that up, it stands on its own because of the clip having the two edges. Look at the sides. All you see are polka dots. You don't see any of that roll just by using washi tape. Speaking of washi tape, I'm grabbing my gold calligraphy printed washi tape, and we're going to put that on the bottom of the card, about 1/8 of an inch up, and then we're going to put the Heidi Swapp gold clip right underneath to serve as a stand to hold your card up. And I put alongside the bottom edge to the envelope, and there you have it, my friends. Clean and simple to mix media using stencils today. I love it. And I hope you get your stencils out and shop in your craft room this week. Have yourself a blessed week, and I will see you on the next tutorial. Please enjoy the pictures, and thank you so much for your comments and subscribing.